Hello my friends, and welcome to another pick a card reading. I hope you're all doing really well, and thank you so much for joining me. It's really good to have you here. And this is the penultimate installment in the incredible collaboration of work and readings that Helen from Eye of the Serpent Tarot and I have done together in terms of pairing the major arcana and delivering very beautiful messages, deep, powerful messages in this series. So for the penultimate reading, we've got a powerhouse, like we've left the best till last, really. The sun and the moon. Helen will be looking at the sun and I will be looking at the moon. And I'm really, this is... her readings are so amazing, so please do make sure you go and watch them. For those of you that have come to my reading here from Helen's readings, I hope that these readings will complement what you've kind of seen within those sun readings, because she's done such a magnificent job in terms of just looking through those and kind of putting the questions in a very sun-like manner. And when we were talking about how to approach this reading, we looked at 4 kind of lenses in which to look at these at. So what I will be looking at is and the way I do it is obviously, and I do it in my own kind of way in that respect, it's very intuitive. So with Helen's, it's almost like it's quite structured, similar to the idea of the sun. So you can see what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like if everything's in the sunlight, you can see usually what's in front of you. You can see things as clear as day, so to speak. But then when it's the night or the moon, there's this sense of reflection. We don't really know what is the truth and the reality. So it's almost like you're having to trust something that's more innate, deeper within oneself. And that's, I think, what's going to turn up within these readings. I just feel it in my bones. So the questions that I'll be looking at will be like, what does the light of the moon teach you? So as opposed to the light of the sun being that kind of like glaring, bright sun that shows everything, what does that light of the moon teach you? That gentle kind of illusional light. How does that make you interpret things within your surroundings and your being? And then the next kind of lens I'll be looking at will be how do you generate light? Like, are you like with the moon? How do you reflect that kind of light that comes from the sun, that comes from your conscious and your waking kind of environment? How do you transmute that into that kind of illusionary, soft, feminine kind of energy that is more reflective? And then also I'll be looking at the subjective nature of the moon and the subjectivity that arises within you in order to approach your situations and, just to give you some advice in terms of how to maximize your potential in the respect of being subjective. And then we also have like the emotional path that almost guides the life path. So even though we have this main path of, our desire, our goals, our our dreams, meaning our external goals, we still have our emotional self. We still have the sense of self that we need to take care of in terms of our own personal inner journey. So how does that fare in this? And what I'll do is I'll probably do it all together because that's the way I usually read. Those questions will be at the forefront in terms of how I approach this. I do urge you to go, if you haven't seen Helen's reading already, do go and see Helen's reading. It will be, I know that they're just going to be really good as a complement to this. They're going to be a powerhouse of readings, but in a very different way, I feel, than to previously. This is really about who you are rather than what's going to happen, or I don't know. I think there's something a little bit more integral about this, that's about the two sides, the alchemical marriage that is within you. So as always, I've got 3 piles. I've got pile 1, which is the moon from the Broken Mirror Tarot. Pile 2, which is the moon from the Dream Visions Tarot. And pile 3, which is La Lune, the moon, from the... Oh God, I've forgotten the name of it. Sorry. I don't know how I forgot the name of it because I love this deck so much. It's the Lux Ex Umbra Tarot. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Timestamps will be in the description box below, my friends, and I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Pile 1, hello and welcome to your reading. So you chose this moon card, which is from the Broken Mirror Tarot. And what I can see here is that there's this sense of, wow, I just noticed that his lyre is broken as well. That's really interesting. So already we've got this sense of, there's a sense like, you know, that something may not be right in terms of, first thing that's coming to mind is about maybe there's a falsity about your trajectory in terms of your life. So you may not feel like it is really what you think it is. Meaning that maybe you have been thinking that you want a certain lifestyle and you want to do this. This is what you've wanted to do and be and become. And actually, you're starting to see cracks in that dream. You're starting to see that it's not really all that it's cracked up to be. You know, maybe you thought that you wanted to do like business in one thing, and then now you've decided to change and do another. And maybe you thought that you wanted to be a company CEO and you wanted to have a load of money, and that was the kind of like goal in life. But now you're realizing that actually, no matter how much money you get or whatever, there's still going to be cracks like in these services, in these places. It's not all it's cracked up to be. So that's what I'm getting initially. There's almost like a sense of you're starting to see the falsity around it. You're starting to see the fiction. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz. Like you're starting to see what the illusion is. But it's not as blatant as that. You're actually you're starting to see cracks because it feels like you're still within the illusion yourself, like you're part of it. Because this character here is part of it. But he's looking up at the moon as if to go like, And to me, the moon looks like a piece of cheese that's like hung up by these like they did in those old theatres, like where they'd like hang the stars by threads and stuff. And then these were just kind of like paper cutouts, or not paper, but they'd be like stage cutouts that would be kind of put here. So there's something that you can see that is not real. But what's really interesting is that the water looks interesting. It looks quite menacing, quite, I don't know, there's something that looks real about the water. So I don't know if some of you have heard about that saying, there's something I can feel in my waters that it's not right. That's the essence of what I'm getting here. It's almost like you're starting to see a glitch in the matrix, basically. You're starting to see glitches. So that's what I see from the U pile 1. Let's have a look at what your other cards have to say. So, okay, let's start with the astrology. Wow, 10th house. Yep, so this is to do with career. Excuse me, my friends. I think I want to use another deck as well, so bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that, my friends. I just wanted to use another deck. So we've got the 10th house here. So what I was saying about career in terms of like maybe you know, thinking that what you want is actually not really what you want. But what I also see, because this is upright and not reversed, I get the feeling that you kind of, you know, and you're also not afraid to make steps into deciding what it is exactly that you want. You know, you're going to be quite forthright with this. You're going to be, you're not going to pussyfoot about it, which means that basically you're not going to mess around. You're not going to be like, oh my God, like deliberating about it. You're actually going to heed the warnings and get out. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like if you see the cracks in the boat, you're not going to be like, oh my God, there's cracks in the boat. What does that mean? You're not going to be really investigative about it. It just says to me that you're actually just going to get out and like save your life kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. Wow, door 16, and then we've got Pluto. This is the mansions of the moon. So door, and that is really interesting because this means that it's your option whether or not to go through this door and experience the truth, or you can either continue to take the blue pill. It's very matrixy. That's the only thing I can kind of like really kind of use as an analogy to be able to describe to you what's going on right now. For those of you who haven't seen the Matrix, go see it, and then also, or watch it, because it's pretty much a documentary of our times, and it was made over 20 years ago. But there's a scene in it where they take the red pill, where the main protagonist Neo takes the red pill or the blue pill, which means that basically you take the choice whether or not to stay within the illusion, or you decide to swallow the bitter pill of truth, which is the red pill. So it's up to you whether or not you want to go towards, whether or not you're going to stay in mediocrity and comfort, or whether or not you're going to make a change and come out of this space where you're going to be able to move out and do something really kind of productive with yourself, with your life. We've got number 7 here as well, and it's also in the sign of Scorpio. So there is something that is very provocative here. It's actually pushing you to make a decision. You have to do it, and not only that, you have to do it pretty quickly. You have to get in, get out. So it's that kind of, there is a real kind of decision here that you need to make about what you're doing here. Because not only are other people going to get the wrong idea, but you may actually be trapped in some kind of situation. You may end up finding that it's going to be a long time before you find another way of being able to remove yourself from this situation. So there's a choice here. There's a choice. Everything is favorable for you to, I don't know that completely, but like with the 10th house being upright, there is something quite integral for you to like consider in terms of your career, like in terms of how you give things to yourself, how you make your purpose, your life, your goals in this time. Vine. Wow. And then we've got 9, so 7, 9. So I mean, and then we've got the signs of the moon. We've got, I think that's, yes, that's Venus. What am I talking about? Venus. I think that's Neptune. And, God, I never get the symbols right. Why is that not? I think that's water. Should be water if it's vine. Yes, it's vine. Yes, it's water. Yes, it's Neptune. So, I mean, that kind of resonates with the essence of the moon, really. But what I am getting here, and it wasn't reversed, this is upright. So it's almost like you can see what the things are, the triggers are, whatnot. Sorry about the noise if you can hear that. I've decided to switch on my heating because it's starting to get cold. And I think it's really important that you recognize that maybe there might be some kind of lenses that you may view things as, and you may think, oh yeah, okay, I have this really nice time, but and that makes everything kind of like rosy, nice. But the reality of it is what is it? What is this reality? It's really interesting how we've got someone looking at the moon, and then we've got someone looking again at a sun, actually. So it's almost like you're looking at possibilities of things that could happen. And there's a lot of abundance here. I'm feeling that you've really got the world at your feet a bit. So no wonder it may be difficult to walk away from that, But there's something that's stirring within you, that's urging you to kind of like be like, right, okay, I need to do something different. I need to make sure that I'm following my integrity and doing what I need to do, rather than just following the sense of something that is just material. You know, I think you're realizing your purpose is bigger. Okay, let's have a look at the Inner Mask Oracle. Okay, we've got the Shadow, 8th Shadow, the Hero, victory, defeat, equality, and courage. It's reversed. Maybe you're not feeling that your main character. Probably that's why these are upright. Because it's almost like, well, these two particularly. If you're feeling like you're not the person that's really strong enough to make the decision or be able to do that, or you're not that person that walks away from everything, you know, you're more kind of like attuned to a life of mediocrity where you're kind of, well, not really mediocrity, but like, it's almost like taking the risk sets you out and being different from other people. And there's a sense of you not believing that you are that person. That's why this is coming up like that. That's why these two are here. It's almost like you're on the threshold. It'd be really interesting to see what this is. Okay, this is Lux Brahmalis, which is winter. Wow, okay. First thing that's coming to me, okay, and I know it's quite, you know, standard, winter is cold, right? So winter is cold, which means that there isn't really much for you to go on here. Maybe that's why the vine has come up, because there's almost like maybe you have to engage in something that warms your heart up in order to be able to recognize what it is that you need to go towards. Because it's interesting, we have this star here, and that star says to me that, you know, there's something in the deep stillness and the darkness of winter that will guide you much better than what this is. So let's have a look at what the tarot has to say. I love it already. Quite deep. Which I knew they would be because it's the moon. What else can you expect? This is the reflection. Nothing is going to be clear. So do bear with me if this is proving a little bit difficult to understand. But I think it's pretty clear. It's showing that things are not clear. And that you're almost like a dweller on the threshold in a way. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Cups. The 9 of Coins. I think that's the Emperor. No, the 9 of Cups. Oh, 2 9s. Page of Swords. And then the 5 of Coins. Okay, right. So I think that it's okay, and then I've got Judgment as well, but I'm not going to take it. I will remember it. So I think you know that the time is right for you to walk away from this thing that looks very juicy right now. You know, you can succumb to the vision or succumb to the kind of like illusion of what is going on at the moment or what is happening for a little while, but now you know that you're going to have to go. And something that in another reader that I watched, I can't remember who it was, but they said that the 8 of Cups, I think it was grounded and inspired in this amazing collaboration that she did with Helen. So do go and watch that because their readings were just out of this world in terms of the collaboration. She said that you're like the 8 of Cups is like you're walking away from something that is good. You're not walking away from something that needs like that's also another take on it. I've always just thought that it's something quite emotional that you were quite emotionally attached to. That too, but then I think that's also synonymous with the meaning of it being a good thing. You know, you thought it was good, but actually you're realizing that you need to move on and you need to go beyond that. So this could be very much a situation. It could be even a marriage or something that would establish you in some kind of security for the future. Very much so with this vine, because vine takes long to grow. It's not, you know, it's not a quick plant that happens when you get the fruit of your labor. It's at least a couple of years before it bears fruit. So you're kind of like, you've managed to kind of reap the benefits of that, but now you're realizing that actually you want to embody this main character energy. And when I mean main character energy, you want to be in charge of your life. You're the one, like, say, for example, if you're working within a company and you've got an amazing package, amazing job, you know, everything's all good, you earn good money, but actually you're yearning for something more. And now you're starting to realize that you're not actually you're not the hero of this story, because you've been doing something for someone else, and now you want to go and search for something more. But you understand that there's going to be something you need to go into some state of deep rest so that you're able to see what really kind of shines forward first. Absolutely perfect for the kind of energy of the moon. Because when we move into the Nine of Pentacles energy, it's very much about you being stable by yourself. You being able to be the bringer of your own fortune, which is synonymous also with this, you know, with the fields. It's their fields. It's not like, you know, a farmer that they're tending. They are the farmer, or they are the owner of these fields, and they are reaping the rewards from that. And that's what they want, going from the 8 to the 9. And then we go to the 9 of Cups, which means that there's a real sense of emotional fulfillment. And it's interesting how I confuse that with the Emperor, because the Emperor looks similar. But that almost says to me that there's a real kind of, once you have the control and the mastery over your, you know, yourself and it's almost like, right, you know, when you, my dad said something to me really amazing yesterday. Like, if somebody gives you a tenner, or £10 or some money, or $10, if you were to earn $2 from your own wages and the way that you kind of have whatever you've earned it, that's going to be worth so much more to you than the £10 or $10 that somebody else gave you, because you earned it with your blood, your heart, you know, you earned it with your sweat, your effort. And that helps you to kind of like have this emotional fulfillment. Not that you didn't do it before, but it's just something, there's something deeper here. Something deeper. Now, the Page of Swords being here, I am getting the idea that you may receive distractions in accomplishing this. And not only that, like I also see, because unlike most people, I see the Page of Swords, whenever I see the Page of Swords, I see it as avoidance. So, you know, there may be a bit of that, because with the 5 of Pentacles being here means that there's a sense of feeling ostracized, feeling not together, not feeling feeling poor, basically, right? Feeling poor in every context. So feeling that you're poor in the context of money, so maybe you won't be earning the same amount, and then you're thinking, oh God, I don't know if I should really do this, because I was earning more money before. Or like maybe you know, not being with friends that maybe, you know, you had a social circle within those groups, kind of like moving outside of that as well. That will might contribute to you feeling a little bit kind of down, sad about yourself, or sad about where you are and making this thing. Because the Page is this kind of like immature energy that makes me think that it's, yeah, there's a choice not to look at it. And also to be a bit dreamy about it, you know, not to really look at like all the stuff, like, because if you think about it, like the whole, and I think Helen looks at the way of the pages like this, like, you know, the whole journey of 1 to 10 of the swords, of Ace to 10. And I don't know, this page to me is not looking at that whole journey that they've been through. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, kind of stumble through. And then it isn't until they get to the Queen that they start to realize about the journey in its fullest. I do think it's distraction here. And I think that might be with, like, say somebody might come in and ask you for some freelance work or something like that. But then there may even be a case of like where you're, you know, you've decided to come out on your own, but then you're also doing freelance, and then you're still finding that you're working harder, but then you're not earning as much. So just be aware of that, okay? What else? Yes, let's clarify. But what I would say to you is just remember that this is also part of that. Like, that's very much the winter, and it's really interesting because this card is the one that looks like winter, I mean, obviously this is like similar to the Rider's Waite Smith, but like, you know, there's ice here and then you've got the winter here. So it's a temporary thing. It's not going to last. So even if you do feel that way, you being able to just kind of ride the wave rather than become a victim of it will really help in this case. And that's why you're watching this reading. Because I'm here to tell you. So we've got the King of Pentacles reversed. We've got the Queen of Cups reversed. Upright. We've got the Ace of Cups. We've got the Star. And we've got the Ten of Wands. Yes. Wow. This is brilliant. I mean, you are going to feel a lot happier than you have done, Pile 1. I just got this feel. I just have this feeling you're going to be a lot happier. If you choose to follow what path you know is right, basically. And for those of you that don't know, take your time in doing that. Maybe after winter or wherever your winter is, because I don't know, depending on where you're watching this, the answer may come in winter. So there may be some time to kind of work through this, to maybe gather your resources before you enter this winter. But yeah, I definitely feel like there's this kind of like slavery kind of attitude that's going on here, and with this King of Pentacles. You're walking away from being under the thumb of someone else. And you're really starting to come into your own in terms of your emotional stability. The Nine of Cups with the Ace of Cups, this is a real new beginning for you to be able to approach your emotions in a way that you haven't done so before. So I think that's great. And then this Page of Swords and the Star. I mean, to be fair, like, even, like, I think sometimes distractions are good, you know. And sometimes they can lull us into that, you know, that they can heal us, you know. It's that thing where you just kind of like lose yourself for a little bit, and then you can kind of like come back to reality. It helps you cope with reality a little bit better. Nothing says here that it's going to be too overindulgent. Like, I almost feel like you understand, as I said before, you understand what the indulgence is. So you almost see what happens if you get too like inebriated with alcohol, just for an example, or too much, like, you know, you do too much, you eat too much, whatever. If you indulge in something, you can see what happens with it and what happens to you. And you may fall back into that space now and again, and that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. It's actually really much part of the journey in terms of you acquiring that, you know, being able to recognize that you are a hero. And it's really interesting as well, because we have this kind of like strong character that's holding this up, and then we have this, I don't know, it just looks like a very hero princess vibe here. So it's almost like understanding what it is that you truly need to do to really be the hero. And what's really interesting is that with the Ten of Wands in its traditional sense, the Ten of Wands is somebody who's holding up 10 wands. So it's almost like you really recognize what's going on here. I wouldn't be surprised, prize one. I wouldn't be surprised, prize one, pile one. I was going to say prize two then. If you are people who are spiritual, and you are maybe looking to delve deeper into your spirituality, you're looking to go further, and yeah, you're looking for an opportunity, and there's something that's calling you to going towards like kind of indulging in that sense. But you know, the world where you've come from is having this kind of constraint on you, so you're having to just dip your toe in and just see how things are for you, and that's totally understandable. So take your time. Okay, so let's have a look at your other cards. Yeah, I'll take this one first. Wow, full moon, water, fulfillment. I think you're really going to get what you want, pile one. This is really beautiful. You're really going on a journey. It's really incredible. I can see you walking up like the path, the illuminated path. And you know, understanding all of the concepts. And you may not even like be like, like you may not even know everything like that you want to know about spirituality, but there's just an innate knowing within you that understands that you just need to put one foot in the other. You've got trust. That's what it is. There's a sense of trust that you have, and I love it. It's really beautiful, exceptionally inspirational. Pile 1, love it. Gaia and Mother Earth, and it's reversed, Libra. Interesting how I said about trust and it was reversed. So what I would say is your connection to the earth is what's important here. You have to make sure that you are in harmony with the earth. And what do I mean by that? I mean like in the way that you interact with the earth. So the first thing that's coming to me is the idea of like, I know it may seem so simple, but if you recycle, if you do things that take care of the earth, if you garden or just something, just how can you better develop your relationship with the earth? If it means like going out and taking walks in nature, that's all great. But also in terms of, I don't know, I'm really strongly getting like those people who say that they look after the earth or whatever, and then you see them like chucking rubbish on the floor or whatever, you know, like, or some people who talk about certain things and then they just making sure that all of your things are in check in terms of how you relate to Mother Earth. And because it's Libra as well, there's a little bit of an imbalance there. And I think this may stem from like the paradigm of how you've been living, because I think you want to move into a different place. But moving into a different place or moving into a different state or moving into a different mind frame or a different paradigm for yourself in terms of the way that you live is going to be really different if you want to be this hero. Like you have to be really stark with yourself in that respect. And I think you know that it's the way. I don't see anything of too much ego. You've got a little bit of ego battle here, but it's not, I think it's you're just a little bit tired of it, you know, but it's fine. It's nothing you won't get over. I really do feel that. I feel like you've got this in the bag, pile 1. This is amazing, actually. It'd be so interesting to see how, you know, with this emotional journey that's going on for you, how Helen's reading will correlate in the respect of like, you know, you kind of going forward and pushing things forward in your sun, in your kind of like main life path. Wow, divine masculine. That is amazing. Control, leadership, determination. I think that's what it is, pile 1. I think you've got like an amazing strong divine masculine, and you don't it doesn't matter about the sex or gender that you are. Divine masculine means that you really fully understand the kind of like principles behind the divine feminine and about what that represents to you. You know, and you respect it. You know, you don't push it down. You don't think that, you know, it's all about the divine masculine. Divine masculine, when it's out of whack, is either too much involved in the feminine, or it's either non-existent, or either too overbearing. And in this case, I'm feeling that there's a possibility that you just have a better control on your divine masculine in the more kind of like ego-centered sense than others that you're in, like the current environment that you're in. Like you're able to see it. And that's why you're able to really kind of ride this so well. Okay, last card I'm going to say to look at to close out is one of another Mansions of the Moon. It's also constellations as well. So this is, if it will go in focus, thank you. Kadakahot, fertility and prosperity. We've had all fertility and prosperity for you, so it's really fortuitous, this reading for you. So we have feed your soul with love and abundance will flow. So, feed your soul with love and abundance will flow. Beautiful, beautiful reading there, pile 1. Really mystical, really powerful reading. I hope it gives you some guidance beautiful, like nurturing energy towards something that will help you. If you haven't checked out Helen's reading, please go and do that now, because I'm sure it will serve as an excellent complement to this, because I think it would be just really useful to see what you can do within conscious reality. But otherwise, my darlings, thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Please do share, subscribe. If you want to comment, please do. It helps others find this video, because yeah, I think it would be really good for this message to get out for other people. But otherwise, my darlings, you take care. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Lots of love to you all. I'll speak to you soon. And remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Pile 2, hello and welcome to your reading. So you chose this moon card, which I think is one of my favorite moon cards of all time. It's the Dream Visions Tarot, and it's got just a really, you can hardly see the writing of the moon, which I really love. But what's really clear is that I can see the moon. And whether it's waxing or waning, we don't know what's going on. But we do have this idea that we are something that is a beacon of truth, is a kind of signal of understanding within this time where we feel that things may not be clear, may not be as obvious as we would like. I do apologise. I hear my lovely... I hear my ice cream van that wants to come and say hi. So, like, I might have to pause the reading. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look at your astrology. Vertex, karmic point, synastry, fated connections, turning point. Okay. Artemis reversed. We do also have Thistle. Wow. The Desert. Experimentation, freedom, expression, expansion. Something very Burning Man about that. And wow, Copper. So the connection to the divine feminine is very strong here. There's something about you being able to reach within the darkness of yourself and accepting that point of yourself in order to go in. It's really interesting because I think this is the new moon. So I think it's new moon, actually. I'll have to double check. But there's a sense of you not being able to go forward as much as you would like to, but you're just having to allow yourself to be in an expanse of something where you don't really know what's going on. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that, my loves. So, it's what's really interesting is that we've got two conflicting cards here. We've got one that's saying for you to play it cool, but it's reversed, and then we've got one that's saying that you need to go for it, and you really need to. We've got this wonderful saying here: "None touch me with impunity," and the whole story behind the thistle is basically how the Scottish got warned of the Norse invasion by somebody stepping on a thistle, and they screamed out, and that's how they knew that they were being invaded. And then we also have this desert card here, which is experimentation, freedom, and expansion. So I think you're at a point, and I'm not surprised that there is a correlation with pile 1 as well, like the idea of being on the threshold. You've got an opportunity to be able to step forward into something which is ultimately unknown, but this is a turning point for you. And I really do feel that this is more of you taking action, whereas like pile 1 was maybe considering whether or not to take the action. Pile 2, you are you're on the threshold to take action. Like this is the time to really step up, and the decision that you made for you to put it into place, to take it into action. Because right now you're in a space where you're able to do that. Even though it feels very unknown, there is a sense of you being able to really kind of gain some perspective in the space that you're in. And the reason why I say that is because that particular desert card, it really reminds me of Burning Man. So, and in Burning Man, it's the whole idea where you're in the desert, there is no water, there is no life, or there isn't any like obvious life. Of course there's life there, but it's just, you know, it's a real kind of ability for you to do whatever you want. Yeah, so there's a real sense of expansion there. And I think it's something that's going to connect deeply to your heart. If for those of you who are not in any kind of like interaction or romantic partnership, there may be some opportunity for that to arise from your kind of standing outness here. You know, the full moon as well is out here with Artemis. And, you know, when I read about the story of Artemis and the little break I took to stop it recording from you, hearing that wonderful ice cream van, you know, Artemis, she made some silly mistakes, you know, in her own destiny. You know, she really wanted to get with Orion, and it was just not meant to be. Just quite unfortunate with what happened. So what I think is really important is for you to be not only cautious with what's going on, but just also being true to yourself. I think that's the most important thing. But yeah, there's a little bit of, Aries, Sagittarian energy in that respect. Like it's quite brash sometimes, not really taking into account things that are around you. I think you are. But I just think that don't let it hinder you in becoming what you want to be. Let yourself kind of come forward. I do think on the, I don't know. I don't know if this is like being too cautious. It's either one or the other. It's either being too cautious or not cautious enough. You'll know what resonates for you. I've got a feeling it's being too cautious, because otherwise all of these cards wouldn't be saying you need to go for it. you have the green light to go for it. So yeah, very interesting, Pole 2. Very interesting. In this one, I kind of see you as very much a bright shining light for others to be inspired by, but you need the space to expand, and I feel like you need to give yourself the space to do that. Otherwise you can't reflect the light properly, can't do your job properly, or do what you're supposed to do. Okay, so we've got, wow, 9 of Cups. Same came up for pile 1. Queen of Swords. Yeah, I think you're being too hard on yourself. Chariot reversed, and it stops you from moving forward into where you want to go. You know things can work out, but there's just a real lack of hope for yourself. I don't know what it is. And I'll be honest with you, it really stumps your growth. You need to go for it. You really need to go for it. Because you don't believe in yourself for some reason. Why don't you believe in yourself? Let's have a look. You know, it could be as simple as like going to an ecstatic dance class or something like that. But yet you're kind of apprehensive about whether or not you really want to, put yourself out there in that respect. You know, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking if you're not used to kind of expressing yourself in that way. Yeah. Sorry sorry about this. I don't know why the cards are just like coming out. These cards are very slippy, so I do apologize about that. Okay, so then what I get from that is like maybe you think that you can't handle what's going to come if you do kind of let loose. Interesting. Interesting. Well, just making sure that you've got the freedom to do what you want rather than like, you know, the image that came up was a thistle that was growing in a space that was far too small for it. So that might be something to do with it as well, pile 2. Expanding your space. We've got the 9 of Cups clarified by the 4 of Swords. Then we've also got the Queen of Swords by Dream. Okay. So there's something you need to release. Yeah, there's some kind of deep fears and insecurities that come to you in your... Pay attention to your dreams. But I don't know, I just feel like there's some real unconscious stuff that's going on that's holding you back. Knight of Cups. Are you holding out for something? Ten of Wands. And Existence. Wow. Pile 2, I think you go a bit Hamlet. If you are wondering what that means, it means that to be or not to be, that is the question. We've got 6 of Cups twice. Wow, this is like something really important for you to fulfill. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something to do with like a bit generational. Of you healing something. And rekindling something from the past that was something that really gave you joy. But I don't know, for some reason you've put it to sleep. I mean, you know, when we're looking at the moon, we're looking at something unconscious, subconscious. We're looking at things that are not obvious. So, you know, if you're thinking, what am I talking about? Then maybe it might be worth doing some kind of like... I mean, my answer for everything is really like when it comes to this work is shamanic journeying. Shamanic journeying is very good for that. But also meditation. You could do like a free like active imagination exercise. You know, just something that's going to help you to be able to connect to that part of yourself that you wouldn't otherwise access. Because I think... there's something very beautiful and romantic about you, but there's a real sense of inaction here. And a fear of action. And I don't know if that's because you feel that you're not good enough or whether or not that there's like something, but there is definitely... Yeah, I think that you may think that either your light is too big or you just, you know, you don't want to shine other people. Like it's almost that thing is like, oh yeah, well, everybody else has got to shine their light as well. But if you're concentrating so much on what other people are doing, then you end up like dimming your light. And I think that's what's happening here. And there's a real need for you to shine. Both Artemis and the Star being reversed, Chariot reversed. You want to be happy, but I think you're putting a cap on your happiness. And you know that actually what you're doing is really damaging. Or you know that it's damaging. I don't know if you think it's really damaging. I think you know it's damaging. So, let's have a look at your other oracle cards. Balsamic, waning fire moon. We've got 2 fire seeds, compromise. Bouquet, and it's reversed. Okay. So, I mean, what I'm getting here is more of, and it's Venus and Pluto, in Libra. Could be a little bit of people pleasing going on here, pile 2. Interesting how 15 also adds to 6, which equals the Lovers in the Tarot. So there's a lot of love stuff here. A lot of love stuff here. And it's real by, sorry, Venus and Uranus, not Pluto. I do apologise. It could also be that if there's a chance of someone, you know, coming into your life, and I think I did say that at the beginning, like, if there's a chance of someone, like, take it. No, I think I said it for one of the other piles. But I think somebody may come back from your past and, you know, reveal that to you. Or, I tell you what, they might come back from your past and you realise that they're not what you thought they were. So it's one of either two things. But the fact that we've got Artemis reversed and all of the stuff that goes on with Artemis and her, like, kind of wanting to align with Orion, but it doesn't quite go right. And then we've got the bouquet reversed, which is kind of like the idea of somebody coming to you. And then Venus and Uranus with that kind of energy of, you know, sudden. I don't know. To me, it seems that love is something that you may get distracted by. I mean, this could be really random, but you could, like, it could be from someone that you met at a festival or something, you know. And you had a really good time with them, but there wasn't really any hope. Like, maybe you thought, oh God, I don't know how I'm ever going to be with this person, because, you know, we come from different backgrounds, from different places. What I am getting, though, is a real, and I have to listen to it. I can't, like, not listen to it. If this person has red flags, right, that you've seen from before, or if this situation, because this could be referring to a situation, please do listen to them, because, you know, that thistle has come up there for a reason. And I don't know, I feel like, you know, don't let your despondency with things not working out affect your judgment for future. I think that's what this is saying. The integrity of the love has to be really true, because sometimes we can be that kind of beacon of light for all sorts of things that kind of come into our lives, and we really want something to work out. Like, we really want it to work out, and sometimes it just doesn't. It just doesn't, for whatever reason. And whether or not you're the believer of, like, you know, everything happens for a reason, or, like, you know, things didn't work out because it wasn't supposed to work out, whatever you're believing or your reckoning is, it didn't work out. Or it, you know, if it doesn't work out, then you know, don't let that cloud your judgment for future. But also be very mindful of the experiences that you have, and don't let it, like, dumb down your own flame. I think that's important here, because I think there is somebody possibly either wanting to come in, or has come in and maybe a little bit intimidated, or maybe it didn't work out. I don't know. There's just some interaction with someone else here, and it's tricky. And I don't know whether or not it's making you question your self-esteem within a relationship, or with who you are in terms of, like, existentially. I just think that it's really important for you to maintain your sense of integrity. Like, it's really important. And it's so confusing. This is the whole thing about the moon. Like, it's so confusing. You have to be really clear, and the only thing that you can be truthfully clear with is yourself. You know? And even then, that's hard, right? So I think it's just important just to remember, just making sure that you're your own best friend, that you are your own cheerleader. You know, you harbor the love that you want for others and for another person into your life, so that you can reignite the star for yourself and make sure that the chariot can go. Because I don't know, I feel like you either you might be meeting someone as well, and you may think that there's red flags, and there may not be. It just may be the sense of distrust that's going on. But I don't know. You've had a good time here. We had the Six of Cups come up twice, but the Ten of Wands here. I don't know if that's a despondency to thinking, oh yeah, like I put everything I had into the last relationship, and I don't know what's going to happen. So, it's that kind of like air of caution as well that might be happening. So, yeah, it's a very mixed bag here, because we've obviously got these mixed messages here. But what I think is that, you just have to be right. You just have to be really directed in your values. And what that means is, like, know who you are, know what your values are. I think I've done a reading on about your core values way back in the playlist, so I don't know if you can search for that. If you want to see it, let me know and I can link it down below. But it's if you understand your core values really well, then you're going to automatically draw the types of people who fall into those categories. So therefore, and if you look at all of your friends and the people that you get on with and you really like, you'll find that your core values all match. And also with situations, it's the same thing. So what this is about you being able to find out what exactly your core values is, because you're realizing that you know that that's how you have to go, but it's almost like you don't know how to get there. You're like kind of still fumbling a bit to find it. And you can't rest on any of this. You've cogitated enough. You've meditated. You've kind of thought about it enough about in that term of, you want this. So now how can you go deeper into wanting that rather than thinking, what do I want? You know what I mean? Wrong card. I'll do that at the end. Yeah, so we've got here, wow, I express myself. I show off, I declare, I tell the truth, and I speak clearly. So, yeah, you've just got to be really clear about what you want. I think that's it. And speak from the heart. And then the last card to end off, we've got Alachil, which is guardianship and protection, in the sign of Libra and Scorpio, in between the planets of Mars and Saturn. Guardianship and protection. Do not fear to lose what you already have. Your heart is a guardian and your soul is the brightest star. That emulates everything that we've been saying, really, in the respect of you need to trust yourself. You need to make sure that it's you that has your heart, not anybody else, really. And then you're able to speak out in the way that you're able to, but also have guardianship of yourself and your heart. My loves, I hope that made some sense. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed it. Please go and see Helen's reading, because that will give some more light to this situation, because I think it's really important. There's a lot that's not clear here. But what is clear is that you need to be clear to yourself. So yeah, that's what I'm getting here, because I feel like there's a bit of an enmeshment here. And when I said about shamanic journeying, that it will really help you to kind of get things kind of really strong. I do shamanic journeying, so if you were interested in those sessions, you can get in contact with me. And I will be doing something very soon, so keep an eye out for that if I haven't done so already by the time this reading is. But do check out my channel for more information about shamanic journeying, if as and when I release this reading, I'm not sure. But yes, my friends, I think that would be really interesting in terms of things that you may be attached to. You could also look at cord cutting or anything like that, because then that would also enable, even if you're in a current relationship and you're with someone and you cord cut, it means that you stop any kind of dependency, and that enriches your relationship and makes it a lot more fertile. So lots to think about. Do subscribe, all that good stuff, because if you do, then people can find the video. The link to Helen's reading is down in the description box below. But otherwise, my darlings, you take care, have a beautiful day, and I'll speak to you really, really soon. And remember that honesty is always key. Bye. Pile 3, hello and welcome to your reading. So you chose this beautiful moon card, which is really symbolic of the divine feminine, but also the kind of purity that comes from the moon, or the kind of apparent luminosity and purity that we think is the moon. Because, you know, what I'm getting the idea is that this is like albino, slightly esque, particularly with the white eyelashes as well, and the white eyebrows, the white eyelashes more than anything. So what this says to me is that people kind of may have this opinion that something may be pure and innocent, but actually it's not. It's just something that doesn't have any color. I know that sounds really weird, but that's the message that's kind of coming across right now. There's almost like a vulnerability as well that people assume of you. They may feel that, you know, that you need help, or there's something very, it may be even that they may think that you're quite vanilla. But there's something very mysterious about you. And I don't think people really know that. It's really interesting. Okay, so because also we've got like only part of the face that is shown. So I don't think they have a clue about what you can kind of do or give. But let's have a look at what your cards say. So, right, we've got last quarter, which is transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. We have Fountain, which is one of the mansions of the moon. We have Poppy. We have the fourth mirror, which is Rebellion, Authenticity, Independence, and Revolution, and it's reversed. And then we have Rotation. Wow. Okay. So I think that it's important to recognize that if someone sees you in a particular light, that does not mean that that is the light that everyone sees you. There is a real movement towards you being able to express yourself. An interesting theme that's kind of run across all of the readings, to be fair. And obviously that's something that Helen's reading will help you with as well, because that's about you putting yourself out there in the world. But if the internal world is not matching, if it doesn't feel as full as you need in order to push you beyond and be confident enough to move into your own power, then it's not going to happen. And I think there's almost like a part of you that needs to be lost. It needs to kind of like give way to the essence of, in a way, kind of like die off, but also just be kind of like maybe subdued. Because I don't know if there's like a bit of an inner critic here that's kind of coming through. Also, you know, I think you are very different from most people. And following in the complete tradition of my pile threes, they usually are. But I think there's something about, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, but now I actually need to change something about what I'm doing, because I don't actually think it's getting me what I want. And I think there's something about needing to change your approach and being brave enough to being able to change your approach. Because there's something that's not authentic, that's not independent, and that's not that isn't allowing you to be revolutionary in the way that you want to be. Because there's this sense of like kind of just going round and round in circles and doing things the same way. And this is about changing things up, because it's very necessary. You actually need to get out there and do what you have to do. It's very important. You've got like a real strong life purpose to kind of get out there and help people. In whatever way it is, But it's very important that you do this, and for you to be able to do it in the way that you want to do it, you have to realize that there's something about your current method is not really resonating with how you want to put yourself out there. So I think, interesting, there's the sun. So I think it's interesting for you to just have a bit of a think. It's almost like you have to go back and review some stuff in order to move forward. Because I've just got a feeling that what you're seeing you don't like. It kind of like correlates with this kind of albino vibe that I was feeling. This is also Neptune and no, it's the sun actually. So Neptune and the sun in Cancer and Leo. Yeah, you are destined to kind of get out there, but sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating. Because you're like, can I really do this work? Is this really something I can do? But actually, I don't even think it's so much to do with that. I don't know. We'll find out when it comes to the tarot. But I feel that it's more to do with, you've done a lot, and now what you're doing is not working as well as you think it is. So it's about you really reconfiguring your own game plan, to be fair. Yeah, that's what I'm sensing, pile 3. Give me 1 second. So let's have a little look at the tarot for you and see what these cards have to say. Getting the question like, but Reena, I am being authentic with myself. How can I be more authentic? Are you getting what you want? Are you getting what you really desire to do? Are you getting what you want? Are you being seen in this world in the way that you want to be seen? Because if you're not, then yeah, there's some things that you need to change up. We've got the High Priestess, and then we've also got the 7 of Wands reversed, and then we've also got the Queen of Swords. Okay. That's the Magician reversed. And then we have the 3 of Cups. Interesting. So you could be hanging out with some people that like leave you in a particular kind of paradigm, that make you, I don't know, maybe you think that you don't want to fit in there, or you start to step out on your own, and then suddenly somebody will come back and say something out of your friend group, and then you'll be like, oh no, actually I can't do that. But then you keep on going back to doing the same thing. Because with that Rebellion reversed, it kind of says to me that you're complying with that, with this Magician reversed. And I don't know, there seems to be something that's occurring from the relationship that you're having with these people, or that something is happening here. Like with others. And that's in a way influencing like what's going on. I don't know, there's some kind of manipulation going on here. You know, like when there's that saying about keeping calm and carrying on. It's all well and good that you keep calm and carry on, but what happens if you ignore what's going on? Then the whole principle of keeping calm and carrying on is a state of ignorance, which actually is very damaging. And that's what I'm seeing. Because we've got very cold female cards here. We've got the Queen of Swords, and then we've also got the High Priestess. but then the Magician reversed. So we've got 3 people here, or 3 energies that could be perceived as people. So, okay, then maybe you're in a group of people and some people are really encouraging and others are not. This is a very base example, and I'm not saying that this is your example, but it's just an example. So it could be like say you're in a group of people, but one of them is really kind of encouraging you to kind of move forward with what you want to do with your life. But then the other side is kind of like, yeah, I just want to party and I want to do things, I want to live in the moment, that kind of thing. Because that rebellion card, and what's really interesting is this image of this toilet stall. And here it says, seek yourself. It's almost like, this isn't, this is one of the times where you usually like look in a mirror. Like, not often do you look in the mirror. I don't know, depending on what kind of person you are. And if you take lots of selfies, I don't know. But like, I don't look in mirrors that often. And when you're going to the toilet, usually that's a time when you're looking in front of the mirror. So it's an opportunity to really see yourself, because you're quite vulnerable, you're not expecting to see a mirror or whatever there. So it's almost like, how do you view yourself in a way that you know that you'll be able to speak out in an honest and divine way. And I think like the right people will respect you for that. But I do feel like there's part of you, either there's part of you or there is another personality that kind of like may turn that around to kind of ensure the friendship of the group. Like it's I remember there was someone I knew, and he, like, when he was in his group with his friends, he was really annoyed that one of his members of his, like one of his friends, decided to go and go away and go to another country and find his fortune. And he actually protested to his other friends and said, like, why does this person have to go? Why can't he stay with us and be happy? Like, in the group that we are. And, I mean, that's not really healthy, is it? Like, I think it's important to recognize that, somebody who has that kind of hold on you, who are they wanting you to stay for? Are they wanting you to stay for you, or are they wanting to stay for themselves? Are they like saying, oh, stay with us because we'll miss you? Or are they, and I know it's probably an inadvertent way of expressing that view, but to say like, why do they need to go to another country to go and do this? Why can't they just stay with us and be with us? I think that that's really selfish. And that's the kind of vibe I'm getting here. Because the integrity of the group is kind of maintained. And I can't stress how much this will probably like tug on someone's heartstrings. But depending on how strong their own personality is, then they'll kind of like go on. But I do feel like there's this kind of energy that's there that will pull out those kind of stops. We'll say those kind of things in order to like kind of manipulate a situation into something. And the reason why I also say that is because we've got the 7 of Wands here, which is like the lack of, you not being able to get over old habits. And also when you're, like for me, the 7 of Wands is reversed is your ghosts overcoming you. So what that means is that if someone had behaved to you in an abusive way previously, then there's a sense of letting them get away with it still, so that they compromise yourself. And it's almost like the vulnerability allows them to do that. But you've got something very important to do, and you need to get on and do it. And if you don't, I don't know what happens if you don't, but like I think it's just, you've got a job to do here. You got things to do here. In fact, I think that you're this person, this is some other person, because say if it's a group of friends, right? And this is what the situation is happening, just for example's sake. This is you, like, wanting to go off and do your thing, and you're doing your thing, right? But then you've got this magician character that's trying to control everything within the group. And then I was going to completely butcher that, but the Queen of Swords, this is the indifference of the situation. This is like, I'm not going to have any opinion about it. You do you and you do you. You know what I mean? So, and that's a very difficult dynamic to be in order, and that's in order to keep like the harmonious nature within a group. Because it's almost like being blind to that in a way. Which is why this mirror is reversed. And this is also reversed because it's almost like you're not allowed to complete this cycle of being within this kind of like situation, group, whatever it is. What I gave was just an example. But there's a necessity for you to move on. And when you do, you will liberate everyone else. But I don't know, there's some sense of intoxication here. I did get like, I don't know, I just got a strong sense of like Class A drugs being done. And, you know, maybe it's a group that are doing it, and then one of the group wants to get out and make a better life for themselves. And like, they're like, why do you want to do that? You know, haven't we got like a really amazing life here where we're just getting wrecked all the time or whatever? Okay, so we've got Judgment reversed. Queen of Wands reversed. Yeah, that makes sense. Three of Wands reversed. Six of Swords reversed. Oh, gosh. And then the Nine of Swords reversed. Okay, right. I mean, I think that this situation gives you a lot more grief than you know, it might be useful to think about what would happen if you walked away. Like, really, what would be the consequences of you walking away? What card is that? Because that's the right way up. Okay, so we've got the Four of Swords. You really do have to take action on this. Judgment reverse means that, like, even though you understand what's going on, and even though you know that there's something else that you have to do, like there's another path you have to walk, you're choosing not to walk it. You're not walking it because you're scared of some kind of backlash. Three of Wands reversed. It's a real stickler into your plans. I don't know. Whoever this Queen of Swords is somebody who doesn't want you to, like, I don't think, whatever environment that you're in, I don't think that they're very supportive of you going out on your own and doing your own thing. Absolutely not. Or if you've done something different. So say, for example, if you're in a work situation and you've done something different, or you want to do something a different way, and then you've expressed that, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And whoever this magician character is, they are going to keep a hold of you in whatever way they can. They really will do. Whether it's like more money or, I don't know, I just feel like it's narcotics of some sort. And then the Nine of Swords, I don't know, like, there's a sense of you either trying to people please, and you worrying about what will happen if you decide to walk away, or the idea that, or even that if you do walk away, it will be all fine and everybody will be okay. You know, it could even be a family situation. I don't know why I didn't see that before, but it could be like a toxic family situation, a very toxic family situation. So there's several instances that could be happening here. Very interesting. Okay, let's have a look at your other cards. Venus, wow. And then we've got balsamic, waning air moon. The last quarter is waning moon anyway, so we've got waning moon, waning air moon, concession. So cutting your losses in some form will end up like actually giving way to something that is a lot more fruitful for you. That is something a lot more beautiful around the corner for you, pile 3. You just have to understand that there is a different way of doing things. There is a different way, because the way that you're doing things is, I don't know if it's working. And I think you need to like reevaluate what it is that you can do in order to make it change. And I think it is as simple as just literally like turning like that, you know. It might be that you might need to turn 180. You might need to turn, I don't think it's 180. I think it's changing direction. I don't think it's turning around. I think it's just slight adjustment of trajectory. Wow. The cherry on top. So we've got finishing touches, satisfaction, conclusion of a project, and it's reversed. So with that there, that makes me think that you've got a plan in place. You might even like have something in place, but these naysayers, and there's too many people around here that's just kind of like trying to get you to it's trying to like mess up your mirror, trying to like mess up your vibe. It's really interesting. Really interesting. I really do feel like there's like some kind of toxicity you need to get away from here. Because it's really hindering power. It's disempowering you completely. Like you can't take action. You can't walk away. Your mind is also kind of trapped. And I think it's because, you know, the good times are really good. Like any kind of relationship that's really hard to walk away from. Because the good times are good. So you think, okay, I don't want to sacrifice that. Because where am I going to meet people like that again? Where am I ever going to, you know, what's going to happen? Like, how am I going to, you know, how am I going to experience that again? But there's a bigger game that's going on here that's to do with you. And I think that that's what's important to keep your eye on. So, yeah. It'd be really interesting for you to like look at Helen's reading and see how the situations in your actual, like, you know, in your wake, like in the actual active life, because emotionally we can see that there is a lot of turmoil going on in the respect of how you have your commitments to other people. But once you get that clear, you'll be able to like look upon your son a little bit clearer, and vice versa. Like, you know, once you may have come from Helen's reading and thought, oh my God, how am I going to put that into place? This will give you an idea of this is probably why you can't put things in place, because there's these emotional constraints that are going on behind the scenes. So it's almost like you starting to understand, okay, what is it about, you know, what am I doing listening to other people and listening to people maybe that I shouldn't be listening to, or maybe, yeah, there's just a walking away from the call. Something's calling you very clearly, and yeah, you need to change your direction in order to like look at it properly, you know. Okay, last card of the reading to close out is, oh wow, Cardaldeba, abolition and recovery, in the sign of Capricorn, residing near Venus and Mars. Interesting. When your heart seeks liberty and your mind asks for mercy, free your spirit from mundane duties. That's interesting. I think that's more of a question of like, do you think that really that's where you reside? Because it just seems to me like you've got a bigger purpose, but you're being asked to be played small here. You've got something to do, but somebody or something keeps on, like, you know, I don't know whether it's physical or not. Let me just have a look. It's more about how someone either thinks about you or it's a thought form. Like it's these are thoughts. It's thoughts that hold you back, nothing more. And I think if you dig deeper into that, maybe journal a bit on it and see what you get, that might help. But also, of course, see Helen's reading and see what you think there. But I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you like this reading, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. the link to Helen's reading is down in the description box below. Please do go and check out her reading. And if you came from her reading, thank you so much for watching this far. If you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, it really helps the video to get out there. So please do that, so that at least leave a like, so that if you did like it, so that the algorithm can pick it up, because otherwise it just goes into nothing. But otherwise, my darlings, you're amazing. You're really wonderful, and what an honor it has been to read for you. Sending so much love to you, and thank you so much for sharing your energy. Have a beautiful night, day, evening, whenever you're choosing to watch this, morning, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, and remember that honesty is always key. Bye.